All right. Peace, peace. Good afternoon, good day, peace and blessings. Good evening, everybody. Man. You see the title. So, well, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Yes. I'm gonna really expand and teach on some insider scoops that I have seen over the years. Some insider scoops that I've seen over the years. Um, but I want to really begin to, um, just give a report first and foremost just on how my extraordinary past few days have gone. Well, first, I started in Prince George's County, where, Dr. Haki Shakur Ahmed, the Success Scholar, am one of the only Be More brothers that have built a base or network of support in Prince George's County, and so I was able to get an award by uh, Premier Legacy Organization, and so that was a great experience getting that from Dr. Remy Duyule, and so I feel honored and appreciate the Nigerian brothers and sisters, and appreciate uh, Brother Daryl Barnes, of course, for being present. Okay, yeah, I'm still alive. I don't know what just happened. Um, so yeah. So that was impactful. That was impactful. Yes, another one. Yes, another one. The Success Scholar recognized yet again. And so here's where I'm at. I've been out here putting in work, and sometimes you have to know like where you are out here, and not everybody is intellectually astute enough to be able to appreciate some people, right? And be able to appreciate the depth of what some people have accomplished, right? And so this is why I'm encouraging people, you know, um, and this is not a anti-Pan Africanist, miseducated Negro or self-hating, shall I say, dynamic, because I, for one, have had to deal with, um, miseducated FBAs that aren't practical, basically are just online, for instance, et cetera, et cetera. But, now I turn my attention, and my last few videos have been on FBA, et cetera, et cetera. But now I'm turning my attention on the failures. It's Pan Africanism working in Baltimore, Kwanzaa, libations, and black dysfunctionality. I mean, I really have seen many, for instance, black men in Baltimore, some, in these libation circles, leading rights programs, and really they can't really move the people. They can't empower the people. They don't have the right thinking, the forward thinking, the work ethic to build alliances, and so they in these little small groups, for instance, and unfortunately, many of these small groups they don't have no real juice, and they don't have no real clout, and unfortunately, many people, instead of trying to support me, they want to like roll into the do nothing crowds, right? And let me just share as well what I do the next day. I think I was back in Baltimore. Yeah, I saw some. Shout out to some of the delegates, Delegate Davis, and as well as Delegate. Come on back. All right, come on back. Thank you. So So here's the thing that I see, for instance. And of course, yesterday I was at the Reginald F. Lewis Museum. No, Friday I was at the Reginald F. Lewis Museum for the Associated Black Charities event. And so many so-called Pan Africanists, they don't have the consciousness to show up and build real power. They don't have the intellectual depth and to really build alliances to show up and really try find out what's going on. And so I've had to reinvent myself. I've been in some of these failing spaces for quite some time. I mean, I've been to Africa with a few of these different groups, and unfortunately they're going to leave our people behind, and I have to really begin to call them out, because they really just blood suck the community on things like trips to Africa, for instance, and just really trying to do false rites of passage programs, and that's really not moving the people forward. Now I'll just give this example. Once upon a time, I've been affiliated with different groups over the years, and I recall that Dr. George C. Frazier group was in town. I'm sorry, the Power Networking Conference. I ain't gonna call it George C. Frazier, Power Networking Conference, and he had his conference at the Gaylord, right? And many of these people, for instance, did not come. They didn't. I tried to get them to bring youth, and they wouldn't even think about it. And that's why I'm just I saw that, and I was like, so-called educated black men, so-called they want to help the young males, and I was just like, man, they can't even help. These black men in some of these groups, they ain't thinking. They can't think big enough. They can't think big enough, and so unfortunately, I've been able to dissect some of these dynamics. For instance, in the Baltimore area, and I see how we have many black men that aren't confident. They aren't confident in themselves, and they don't show up. And they use excuses. I give you this example. See, they don't know how I've been, studying. I've studied more than most of them, for instance, in everyone's place. But I balanced that out. I balanced that out by showing up in different spaces, and so this is why when I show up, for instance, in D.C. at Howard University, and was a part of the Power Talk discussions, and as well as when I brought Carl Nelson to Baltimore. Many of them didn't show up. See, because they're not doing anything. They're not connecting. They're not connecting. And this is why, for instance, when I got the award from Dr. Arcana at Howard University, many of them didn't show up for that. And then when I got my honorary doctorate, many of them didn't show up for that. And when I got the award from the UNIA, many of them didn't show up for that. I mean, these Negroes, when I spoke at the Reginald F. Lewis Museum at the men's night, many of them didn't show up for them. Y'all just aren't very developed. Y'all just dysfunctional, brothers. And I'm just calling you out for just being average and below and just mediocre. And I'm just this is not what our ancestors wanted. You can't do libation and the spirit of the ancestor doesn't come in your life, truly. So I don't know what the so-called libation or Kwanzaa actually mean to some of these people. I don't know why you show up at African Liberation Day or I don't understand. I don't understand what you're doing. I don't understand why you got youth programs. Some of you, right? So here's the thing. So coming up here over the next few weeks, so I wanted to tell the other story, and then I recall the Congressional Black Caucus weekend was in town. Right now, some of these folks in Baltimore, man, And they telling you they running some youth program, and if they never been to any of the CBC events, like, they not worthy. They aren't worthy for your young person. They could go and network in DC at low cost, and that's been going on 20, 30, 40, 50 years. How long? Dr. George Frazier, he said he only missed one CBC. And this is why I was able to author a book, keynote a book with Dr. George C. Frazier, because I know where to show up, and I'm not like just concentrating. I mean, although I do a lot here, but my mind, I have to get knowledge from people that travel, that read, but also individuals that aren't miseducated. See, these people who have low self-esteem, they've been beat down by women or whatever, and they haven't accomplished much, right? And so they see me coming, and they plant these negative seeds, and I have to be able to overcome and play chess and push people out of my circles, right? And so now, for instance, I've had to really reposition myself to really grow and build differently and build a stronger network, a more impactful network. And this is why I'm going to take it to the young people, take it to the young people in spaces like at Coppin, take it to young people at UMBC because I'm a West Sider, and just keep on organizing. And so I don't have time anymore. And then you have some Pan Africans just want to have meetings. They want to host these little conferences, and nobody shows up, and they just keep on doing them. And they just keep on doing them. And they want to talk about voting and building a third party. And nobody's like joining you. You're not building no third party. Like, and that's the FBAs as well. And that's what I'm saying. You have FBA, ADOS, then you have Moors, and then you have the Hebrews who don't vote. Then you have video. Let me just use my other camera. I'm not going to keep on fooling with this darn camera. Camera. Okay, I'm going to use my other camera. Okay, wait a minute. Alright, is that up? Ooh, I think it's my Wi-Fi. I think this might be my Wi-Fi. Okay, I think this might be my Wi-Fi actually. That's weird. I've never did that. Let me see. So, yeah. So, as I continue to build, as I was saying about, true, brother Paul, true, brother Carl. That's what I'm trying to build on. Not to label or mislabel anybody, but I'm just not impressed. Like, you can be impressed, for instance, in Baltimore, and see some of these people, and they just did. They just intellectually did, spiritually did, and they don't grow, and they haven't grown for decades. They haven't grown for decades, and they just angry, man. They bitter and they jealous. You know what I'm saying? And so there may be some truth, to how they jealous, for instance, of FBA. But I'm not impressed by FBA either, because I know that ain't nobody paying them no attention, and you're not gonna build no real power like that, like for real anyway. So I'm just, I don't want to, just full disclosure, but I wanted to come on and just articulate just how dysfunctional what I've seen over my years. And these people are angry, man. They in pain, and I've had to really become wise, brother. I've had to become wise because I was a part of these different black cults, these different organizations, man. I've shown up, supported many of these different folks, man. For years, for decades. I spent years of my life, just trying to learn some dumb shit, just learning some, weird knowledge that's not practical. I mean, there's some of these black cults are, they good, but you got some brothers, I mean, I don't know what it is, but you got some that are actual simps. There's some black Pan Africanist simps around in Baltimore, and they are being like put in like so-called leadership, and they don't have like successful relationships, like for real. Like many of them aren't successful. They're average. They don't learn anything. They don't grow. They just want to sit around, do some libations, play on drums, and that's it. And I'm just like tired of it. I'm just tired of it, man. I've seen these, and I promised myself, I was like, there's no way that I'm going to be a broke ass old Negro. I don't give a damn. Like, I don't care whatever else happened. I don't care what else happened. I'm not being like these old Negroes sitting around all looking all unhealthy, and women don't like them. Whatever. But they don't get no respect from their woman, right? Because they haven't built anything. They haven't created any success in their life, and they have loser women, right? They accept these losers, and they don't build them up, right? Intellectually. And this is why when I was at the Associated Black Charities event, the Women's on the Move, because I spoke at the men's event. You can look it up. You can look at my picture. And some of them black men, they were like jealous as hell. They were jealous as hell that I spoke at the Associated Black Charities Black Men's event. They were jealous when I got my honorary doctorate too. Like I saw somebody post and say that he swindled somebody, that I swindled somebody in giving me an honorary doctorate. Like, I don't need to swindle anybody, man. Matter of fact, that was the second honorary doctorate that I was offered, yo, for real. And so, I mean, look, and I didn't even accept that first one. So I'm just like, look, let the body of work speaks. That's what an honorary doctorate is. Like, it's your body of work. And so I'm not, trying to pontificate like somehow I'm exalted, over any and everybody. But a lot of these other Pan-Africanists, they don't have one. And I do more work than some of the Pan-Africanists in Baltimore with these doctorates, these real doctorates. Like, I have more worth and success and power potential fulfilling the work of Dr. Amos Wilson than many of you combined, many of these Negroes combined. Let me just be quite plain. So y'all following behind these old Negroes, y'all Baltimore so-called Pan-Africanists following behind these old Negroes, showing up at Kwanzaa just as dead as you want to be, or showing up anywhere, who knows, some men's meeting, and the men not taking the young men to another level. I point people to the right direction. I've been to the Black Enterprise Conference, the Power Networking Conference, the CBC, the African Union, the United Nations. Like, this is what a so-called rights program would be. This is what a so-called rights program should instruct young people on, to think globally. I'm been in Annapolis, but let me just say something about Annapolis, because you got some folk, they just worship. They in Annapolis, and that's all they do. You never see them out in the corners, out in the community, right? But they in Annapolis, right? I don't, it's like lazy. Some of this stuff is just lazy work. Some of these people, they do the most laziest work. And let me shout out to We Are Us and Brother Bunley, the brothers who, walk out here on the streets. I can't walk like them all the time. I got other types of things I do and other types of work. Matter of fact, the food giveaway in Allendale is this Saturday. We need some volunteers. You think some Pan Africans gonna show up for that? I mean, when I worked in Sandtown, when I wrote the assistant editor for the Sandtown Winchester Viewpoint newspaper, I ain't see some of these people, man. I didn't see some of these people, and I ain't give a damn like what after a while, because they were just like they ain't connecting to nothing. They just show up at different events and pour some libation and beat on some drums and take their lazy asses home. So I just wanted to come on and just share, because last thing and let me just it's not no FBA thing. I see them coons run around parroting Trump like the Somalis, beefing with Somalis. Like, I'm not. Here's the thing. I mean, if some continental Africans got beef, and then some of these people, these Pan-Africanists, you never see them like in any like African, like connecting to any African communities. Like, how I was just with one of the commissioners today. One of the African Westmore governor, he pointed, he has an African commission. I was just with one of the sisters today from Kenya. Like, these people respect me. Like, and I'm not going to lie for you clowns. I'm not going to lie for these so-called Pan-Africanists to ruin my good name. I don't give a damn how ignorant and lazy you are, and you've been jealous for so long. I'm not allowing for you to ruin my good name, right? Because, things about to change. Things about to change for me. I'm gaining wisdom, and I'm, it's chess with every damn body. It's chess. Like, get down and lay down, like, for real. Like, this is how, I need to grow. I've been paying dues, more dues than most of you, putting in work, making people money, making a lot of people money. And now I'm like, all right, you know what? Been to Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, Ethiopia. And no, ain't none of you do nothing to get me there. I did it. I made it happen. I manifested it. And so now I'm just like, all right, look, I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat these, these so-called Pan-Africanists like some of y'all, like it's like a group to join, and you ain't gonna have no more problems, or you better than somebody. You better than, well, I don't know if you better than FBA. I don't know no FBAs that's like that I would really even care to, if they talking about it. I don't care to, it's not important, is what I'm saying. The FBA thing is not that important. The Pan-Africanisms, I mean, in the real world, like, you don't have people, running around wearing a label on that pin, talking about I'm Pan-Africanist. The only people that do that is just addicts and cult followers now. People that's addicted. And once upon a time, I believe that many of us need, this type of knowledge. Many of us needed the cultural, finding ourselves, because we were lost in Euro insanity. And I still believe that many people, the younger generation, need this. But you got some old Negroes, man, that just keep on. They like a church. They like a church, and they don't grow. And they don't grow. And unfortunately, they've dumbed down these weak, intellectually lazy black men. I've even, for real, there's been events that, unfortunately, I've been blessed to be in position that I got, there was a CBC function in DC. I got 2 VIP tickets. I gave one to one of the real Pan Africanists, Brother Mel Foot. And he was so appreciative and grateful. He was so appreciative and grateful. And I got it to another so-called Pan-Africanist in Baltimore, whatever, I don't know, whatever the hell. The Negro didn't even show up. Didn't call, didn't show. And I'm just like, yo, everybody wanted to see Westmore that time. Everybody wanted to see Governor Westmore. Whether you like him or not, like whatever, there's a certain level of influence, prestige, or people power that he has. Now, you can either be a Negro hater, a Pan-Africanist hater of him, or you can build off of that network because he's a Baltimore brother and a Maryland, a weeby Marylander. And so, I'm simply saying this. Some of these folks, man, they don't grow, and intellectually, they don't show up to experience different things in and around the Baltimore metropolitan area to really be valuable to our young people, certainly not to me. And so, some actually need to be reduced in rank, like reduction in rank. I'm calling for a reduction in rank for some of the so-called Pan-Africans, male and or female, because many of them, they co-sign each other in this black dysfunction. And now I'm just like, you know what? I'll just keep on expanding, keep on growing, and keep on winning. And now that's where I'm just like, I'm only accepting winners right now, and I'm going to turn it up. And people just going to keep on hating, and I'm just going to keep on winning. And that's how it is. I'm making my calculations. I keep getting wiser, and as I y'all see how I'm growing right now. Give me a year. Give me 1 year. Give me 1 year. God, let me be healthy. Let me stay healthy. I'm going to turn this thing up. Because, listen, I have a resume, and it's bad. And I'm telling you, it's a bad global resume. But also here. Now, I know some people, I've heard somebody say something about one person, this person the only one. Like, look, I don't have time to be like comparing, contrasting. Everybody got their little lane or whatever. And unfortunately, some people just small-minded. But for me, when you read 100 books a year for 11 years, you can't be but so small-minded. Like, I'm not small-minded, and me going to a few places gave me another level of depth that even people that go, but they don't read any damn thing. I know a sister, she go every damn where, don't read nothing. Like, haven't, read the real book probably in decades, probably since after finishing school. But these people will stand in front of you like they the so-called the African Grand Poobah, or Miss Poobah, Mama Poobah, or whatever. So I'm just calling some folks out, man. I'm just drawing a line, like it's whatever. It's like it's on now. So But I don't have to. I'm a classy brother. Like really, I am. Like I don't want to like fight with anything. But like when they say Pan Africanism is dead, like some people have been saying that. I can see what they mean, but I just understand it a little bit more uniquely than what they saying. They going off of they not going off of first hand knowledge of some of the people, because I operate in a cultural mix of brothers and sisters that are from the diaspora. So I operate in a Pan Africanist context, but some of these so-called Black American so-called Pan Africanists, they aren't building on anything. I mean, and they're not like really worthy for you to be to be showing up and bringing you their young people to put in any programs or initiatives that they're trying to do. Like, let me just make it plain. And that's where if it's not about land ownership, assets, health, healing our communities, it ain't truly about anything. I don't know what these folks trying to do with their existence, but gaining equity within the society, ownership. This is where I'm striving to build people on. And so for you all that want to be a part of a real tangible movement, stay connected. Things are happening. I mean, I wear many different hats. And so sometimes, I'm in these spaces for different reasons. Building power. Building actual power. And so I'm just saying I'm close to having some bigger things happen, some entrepreneurial things happen, and I'm looking forward to some entrepreneurial minds, some business minds, some growth-oriented minds, some people with some work ethic, not just people repeating quotes and things and sitting around sound like some bunch of old men that's not building anything. You got to have some excitement. I don't want to be like some of these old men, man. I gotta grow. I gotta be around some folks that want to make some things happen in this world, and this is how I live my life, right? And so, how much time? What's that? That's 32 minutes. All right, I think I done said enough, but I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna do another one in a few more days, but ultimately, I've seen enough. I mean, I had a beautiful weekend, and I'm like, man, can't nobody stop me. I'm unstoppable. Only way something gonna stop me is if I'm dead. But I got some things, and I planted enough seeds with enough people. I planted enough seeds with enough people to say, you know what, put some respect on the success scholar, Dr. Haki Shakur Ami. I've earned it, and now, I'm feeling like everybody that's going to be attracted to me now, I'm just going to win. I don't give a damn. Like, even if my hating ass family, if y'all going to keep hating, I don't give a damn. Like, period. I don't have nothing to lose at this particular time in my life but to keep on elevating and keep rising. That's all I care about now, period, is elevating. I paid some dues, and God has blessed me enough, with some good enough people and some assholes. And now the assholes are leaving. And thank God they're leaving. And I'm getting rid of you all. And I'm going to make sure that, intellectually, that I'm strategically aligning myself to ensure that I'm continue to grow. And now, fortunately, sometimes you got to reach people through this way. I'll start paying my little person to, pump up my videos again, because I know how the algorithms work or whatever. But now it's time to, and yes, I will begin. I'll be like a little 50 Cent if necessary to, begin to call people out, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, y'all. Whatever it takes, because I don't plan on letting these sorry ass brothers, and sorry ass sisters ruin my great city, ruin, the movement, ruin Africa, ruin black people, wherever we are. Like, now, I'm just calling you out. So, if it got to be, if we have to go to war, we have to go to war. And I don't give a damn who I have to go to war against now no more. I'm like Tupac. Once you got your money, now you're ready for war. So I'm out.